New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is the latest Democrat to jump into the race for president. Is this the career move he should be making right now? And he's been called the most controversial, outrageous, and influential radio shock jock of all time. Howard Stern shares his most unforgettable moments, his biggest regrets, and why he says he helped put Donald Trump in the White House. Let's light up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Austin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Excited today.
Yeah. Never seen this many men in this audience.
No, this is a few more men than we usually get, but you know, it couldn't be for Howard Stern, could it?
I'm so excited. I'm a huge fan. He's the king of all media. Baba Booey.
Good to have her. So, before we get to Howard, though, y'all got us with what we do. Okay? A lot of Democrats are saying Joe Biden, Kamala Harris teaming up would make for a dream ticket, and Senator Harris agrees with them to a point. Take a look.
I think that, sure, if people want to speculate about running mates, I encourage that, because I think that Joe Biden would be a great running mate. As vice president, he's proven that he knows how to do the job. And there are certainly a lot of other candidates that would make, for me, a very viable and interesting vice president.
Now, he is the clear front runner by double digits right now, but don't y'all think it's a little early for this conversation to be happening? I mean, we keep adding people to the pack.
Yeah.
I mean,
two new ones yesterday.
And one that, got another one today.
Yeah. Well, there are 23 Democrats running for 24 now with today's
You can't
announcement.
blame them, though. It's like with this jerk in the White House, it's like anybody could run.
Well, yeah.
Anybody could be president compared to him. I know some of you are fans. I don't care.
Well, but I do think it's dismissive of Kamala and all women, really, to suggest that she's running for vice president. She's running for president of the United States. And so I just don't understand why they constantly are saying, you'd make a good vice president. That's not the spot that she's running for.
Nobody runs for second place. Nobody runs for second place. And I think it's a really reductive question to be asking candidates, because I do think that we want to know what their platform is across the board. And I think that it's so early, it's so new. Anything can come out of left field. I know better than anyone that running mates can come out of left field in any way that you can. And it's a make or break decision, but you should give people time.
Having said that, though, Biden, Kamala, great ticket. Youth and experience.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great ticket.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on anything yet.
I think a lot.
We're a year and a half out, you guys.
Well, this is going to be going on for a while, because, as I said, people keep joining the pack. And her campaign aide said that Fox News reached out to them about doing the town hall, but they're not entertaining it. Now, yesterday we talked about how Elizabeth Warren says she's not going to go either. But, we did mention that they could be limiting their audiences.
I know.
By not doing it.
The interesting thing is, it's a fine game plan for the primaries, right? Because if you have a lot of Republicans watching Fox News, they're not going to be voting in the Democratic primaries. That's fine. But it is not a long-term game plan, because if you're running to be president of the United States, you have to reach the Fox viewer. It is the #1 cable news network in the country. Yeah. And so it's a very dismissive long-term game plan. And I suspect if you have someone like Kamala that is going to be on the ticket, she's got to switch that game plan.
Well, also, Donna Brazile is over there. There's a lot of folks over there. Now, I kind of understand it because it used to be a time where you could go and, do Sean Hannity's show, or you could go do O'Reilly. There wasn't this stop, don't come over here.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe everybody needs to just say, now's the time to start blending again. Because some of us are married to people who are, who are not believe the same things that we believe, and at some point we're going to have to come together. Might as well try it here.
It's also actually a misnomer that Fox News viewers are predominantly just conservative. Yes, it's probably a somewhat of a majority, but there are actually a lot of independents.
Mm-hmm.
There are actually some Democrats that watch Fox News in the same way that I watch CNN. I like to know all perspectives all the time, and you never know. I just think, like I said yesterday, if you can even have one voter who goes to their red hometown and says, do you know what? I loved what they had to say, and I'm going to take a second look because I'm not so happy with what's going on.
Sure.
That, to me, would be worth it. In the same way that I don't like it when Democrats are too big of cowards to come on this show. I don't like it when Democrats are too big of cowards to go on Fox News, and vice versa. Republicans on CNN.
Well, actually, I have to say, it has been a while since they were invited. Because as I was saying, I used to get invited to go all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then Republicans get asked on the show a lot. They say no a lot.
And they say no.
They lost one last week.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
People
but when
say
they do
no.
come and they sit like a Dan Crenshaw, I may not agree with his politics, but I appreciate that he wasn't cowardly, that he sat and he,
well, you can't
and he
bitch
took
about
the question.
us. You can't bitch about us. And then say that we don't get it when you don't come.
Exactly.
You can't bitch if you don't come.
If this is too hot for you, you don't deserve to be in politics.
You can't do that.
If this table is what you can take,
it's so true.
Snowflakes scared of the view? I hate it.
It's ridiculous.
Come on, what are you scared? A bunch of 4 women?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Howard's not scared.
Snowflake.
She doesn't know what a snowflake is.
I didn't know what
She's
a
snowflake. Like a scaredy cat.
It's like a I'm so precious. I'm just a special snowflake. I can't handle anyone that disagrees with me. It's a bad thing.
But
none of us at this table are like that.
No. What do you think about the argument, though, that Elizabeth Warren said that she said it's a hate-for-profit racket that gives a megaphone to racists and conspiracists, and so she doesn't want to legitimize the network.
But a lot of people over there are just getting that Fox point of view, which a lot of it is not factual. So they could use a fact-based person to talk over there
and make it better. If you're not going to make it better, you can't bitch about it.
The people who moderate those town halls are very respected journalists.
Yeah.
It's not like
We're not talking about Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
We're not talking about
I like
the
Chris
evening
Wallace,
shows.
and I like that Judge Napolitano's turning out to be quite vociferous
There's a whole bunch of really
Kennedy,
good people.
There's a ton of people I respect and are very middle of the road.
All right, Joe.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
I don't know exactly how I feel.
One thing's for sure.
I don't know what the end of this is for me.
I like to think I do.
All hell
You guys are in my way. You gave me your word. You were staying in your lane.
is about to break.
He's manipulating.
Luke.
You're the fakest person I've ever met.
You don't even know me.
Oh, I know you.
I've been nothing but truthful with Hannah. You are not gonna mess it up.
I'm scared.
The Bachelorette. New tonight on ABC.
Still ahead, Howard Stern's at the Hot Topics table? Oh, this I have to see.
Welcome back. So, of course, we did touch on this a little bit ago, and this morning, it became official. New York City Mayor.
I know!
Bill de Blasio is running for president. His campaign video says...
God.
Let me read it. It says he's going to put working people first. That New York has embraced the Green Deal. And that he'll take it national. And that as a New Yorker, he's always known what a bully and fraud the guy in the White House is. Is this a good career move for him? Right now? No! What are you doing? Not a good career move, man. Here's the thing that you didn't mention. Homelessness is near record highs. Congestion pricing will take the minimum wage money that we just gave to people. It'll take it away from them because they have to pay the congestion pricing. Public housing is falling apart. You can't seem to fire anybody. The subways are underserved. The buses are slow. What the hell are you going to do? You know, well, I just finish doing what you're doing here. Finish being the mayor.
Oh, I love
Finish
it.
this out. You know, so that we can.
He's done some good things.
Spit him out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? He passed universal pre-K program.
Okay.
The number of 4-year-olds enrolled has almost quadrupled. He's increased funding for affordable housing, even if they're not being maintained properly.
Yeah.
He championed a freeze on rent increases. That's important.
Yeah.
Especially commercial rent. Well, that's what's killing the city.
that is what's killing the
He raised
city.
the minimum wage to $15. He dramatically reduced stop and frisk. Murder rate is lowest in decades. He
Not because of him.
He supports legalizing the sale of marijuana. How about that?
Well, you know what?
6%.
Can I add something to the
Yes,
good
you
stuff
can.
that he's done?
Absolutely.
He approved a legal guarantee for paid sick leave, paid vacation now, also for all New Yorkers, and something that I think is fantastic. There's now in New York a fully comprehensive guaranteed health care system.
Yes.
And it targets 600,000 uninsured residents.
yes.
Half of them are undocumented immigrants, and New York is the only place that does that. And so while there are a lot of faults for Bill de Blasio, he's done a lot for this city. And by the way, Donald Trump, no one in New York voted for Donald Trump, but America voted for Donald Trump.
That's
and
right.
so the fact that he maybe hasn't been that successful here, I don't think
Okay,
the
but
rest of
you
America
live and die by
cares.
launches, and this morning in GMA, people were screaming liars so loud outside that George Stephanopoulos had to say, hey, there's a bunch of protesters
be a
out here.
setup. You don't know who those people
Can I just
are.
finish
Yeah,
talking?
go ahead,
Because I
baby,
hate
go
this
ahead.
guy. Thank you. 76% of New Yorkers said he shouldn't run for president. There's a violent crime rise. There's a measles outbreak, increase in homelessness. He's a climate change hypocrite. He drives to and from Gracie Mansion down to Brooklyn in an 11-mile caravan. Yet he's advocating for Green New Deal right now. And on top of everything else, he killed the groundhog. And I feel like that's important to America. And we have the video, okay? He did. He dropped his groundhog.
But the groundhog didn't die.
Yes, the groundhog did die.
Are you holding him responsible for the measles outbreak?
I think that you're talking about crappy things happening in New York City. You're the mayor.
Not
Buck
everything is
stops
his
at
fault.
you.
No, not everything is his fault, but a lot. But you know
As
what?
far as I'm
It's
concerned, it is.
for me, had he started this idea that you can't have these insane rents 4 years ago when it was happening, if he had started a lot of these programs when he first got in, and as he said, instead he was pissed that people who had some money, you know, shouldn't get services done. That people who live outside the city shouldn't be able to come into the city. Doesn't believe that people should be driving their cars into the city. If you've driven people out of the city, how the hell do you expect them to come to work?
And by the way, that groundhog was named Staten Island Chuck.
We'll be right back.
He's a mixed bag.
Please, no cameras. I'm very shy. I'm not seeking any attention for my